Hi and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to talk about a very important topic, and that is fuel economy or mileage. Since you all know that whenever any Indian family goes to buy a car, especially if it is their first car, what will they keep in mind? They will keep in mind that ye gaadi kitna deti hai. That means how much fuel economy does that car give. And for that very particular reason, we have chosen 8 different cars, that is 2 from each brand, and we are going to tell you about their CNG variants, because the CNG variants are the variants that give the most amount of fuel economy, and yes, they are budget friendly as well. So let's start off with car number 1. We have the Maruti Suzuki Celerio CNG. Now, before I begin, let me tell you that we are not going to take any variants, because as you all know that the engine and the gearbox almost remains the same whether you buy the base variant or whether you buy the top end variant. So yes, we are going to tell you the cars, the gearbox, the pricing, the engine, and how much mileage does it give. So the car number 1 is the Maruti Suzuki Celerio CNG, and if we talk about the price of this car, now this CNG variant starts at rupees 5.9 lakh ex-showroom. Now this is a very affordable car, and obviously if we talk about the engine and the power of this car, now it gets a 1 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and yes, this engine produces about 57 PS of power. Power figures are not that much, but it will do its job. It will take you from point A to point B, and you can enjoy your long road trips as well. If we talk about the gearbox of this car, it gets a 5-speed manual gearbox. And yes, the most important part, we are going to talk about the mileage, and we are going to talk about kilometers per kg, because obviously in CNG variants we measure it in kilometers per kg. So the Celerio CNG will give you a claimed mileage of around 34.43 kilometers per kg, and that is the most amount of mileage a CNG car can give, and that's why we have put it on the first in the list. Now let's come to the second car, which is the Maruti Suzuki WagonR CNG, which is again a very renowned name in the automotive industry, and you can see a lot of WagonRs, whether families buy it, whether it be in the transport line, any line you see, you will find a WagonR. And yes, the WagonR starts at rupees 5.89 lakh ex-showroom, the CNG variant. If we talk about the engine, it almost has the same engine as the Celerio, which is a 1 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and yes, it delivers the same power because it's the same engine, which is 57 PS of power. If you talk about the gearbox, it's almost the same. It's a 5-speed manual gearbox. And yes, the fuel economy is a little less compared to the Celerio. It gives 34.05 kilometers per kg. So yes, if we talk about both these Maruti Suzuki cars, one gives a little more fuel efficiency than the other, though the engine, the gearbox and the power remains the same. Now let's come to the third car, which is the Hyundai Aura CNG. Now Hyundai has also had a lot of CNG cars, and we have taken 2 out of the list. First is the Hyundai Aura. So if we talk about the price, the Hyundai Aura is slightly expensive. It's about 7.82 lakh ex-showroom. It starts at that. And if we talk about the engine and the power, now this gets a slightly bigger engine, which is a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and this engine produces a little more power, which is about 69 PS of power. So it is slightly more powerful than the previous 2 cars. Now if you talk about the gearbox, it gets a 5-speed manual gearbox, and yes, the mileage that this thing delivers is about 28.40 kilometers per kg. Let's come to the second car from Hyundai, which is our 4th car on the list, which is the Hyundai Exter CNG. Obviously, we all know that the Exter is a very good car, very spacious car, has a lot of features. But this CNG variant starts from rupees 7.33 lakh ex-showroom. And if we talk about the engine, it is again the same as the Hyundai Aura, which is the 1.2 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, and the power also remains the same. It's about 69 PS of power, and yes, the gearbox also remains the same, which is a 5-speed manual gearbox. But if we talk about the mileage of this, obviously it delivers a little less mileage than the Aura, though the engine and the gearbox remain the same, which is around 27.10 kilometers per kg. So yes, these were 2 cars from Hyundai, and now let's come to the third brand, which is the 5th car, which is the Toyota Glanza CNG. So the Glanza, as we all know, is a rebadged version of the Maruti Suzuki Baleno. And yes, this thing is slightly on the expensive side. You will have to pay 8.17 lakh ex-showroom for the CNG variant, where it starts from. The engine is a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, and this thing produces a little more power, about 77 PS of power. So yes, it is a little powerful than the earlier cars that we've talked about. And the gearbox is a 5-speed manual, and this thing delivers a claimed 30.61 kilometers per kg, which is on the good side, because yes, the earlier cars, maybe some produce about 27, 28, but this thing with the 1.2 liter 4-cylinder engine gives about 30.61 kilometers per kg. Now let's come to the second car, which is the Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder, and that is also available in a CNG variant, and this is a slightly expensive variant, which is about 13.28 lakh ex-showroom. If you talk about the engine is also big. It's a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. It's a 4-cylinder engine, and yes, because it's a big engine, it produces slightly more power, which is 88 PS of power. Again, it's made to a 5-speed manual gearbox, and yes, it delivers slightly less fuel economy, which is about 26.6 kilometers per kg. Now let's come to the last brand. We have two cars from Tata Motors. First is the Tata Altroz iCNG, which is again a beautiful and a good car. It's feature loaded, it looks good, and yes, this thing starts from rupees 7.89 lakh ex-showroom. If you talk about the engine and the power, it gets a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, and this thing produces about 73.5 PS of power. Again, a 5-speed manual gearbox, and the mileage that the company claims is about 27.8 kilometers per kg. Now let's come to the last car, which is the Tata Punch iCNG. And yes, this thing starts from 7.45 lakh ex-showroom. If you talk about the engine and the power, it gets a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, which is the same engine as the Tata Altroz. And this thing produces 73.5 PS of power, again, which is the same as the Altroz. But if we talk about the fuel efficiency, this thing produces slightly less fuel efficiency than the Tata Altroz, which is about 26.99 kilometers per kg. And yes, this is mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox. So these are the 8 cars that we have chosen that give the most fuel efficiency in the CNG avatar. So yes, you can choose it according to yourself. Obviously, you can look for other brands as well. And we will come up with a part 2 where we are left with other cars that are CNG. Well, this is the segment that we thought that these 8 cars would fit perfectly. And yes, all these cars are loaded with some of the other features that are appealing to the mass audience. So yes, if you like this video, do give a thumbs up, share and subscribe to all our social media channels. I'm Pramit signing out. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, be safe and drive safe.